Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Monday Night Raw, I thought it was a decent show tonight. Wasn't perfect or great by any means, but we already have the men and women's Elimination Chamber qualifiers already set. And what we got on Monday Night Raw tonight, we had AJ Styles. He ended up going one-on-one with Dominik Mysterio. We had a woman number one contenders match to determine who will face Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So it was Dakota Kai versus Ivy Nile. We also had Penta Cero Miedo in action. And he ended up taking on Pete Dunne. We also had the two final qualifying matches in the Elimination Chamber. We had Roxanne Perez from NXT, and she had taken on Raquel Rodriguez. And the main event, it was for the final spot in the men's Elimination Chamber, Seth Rollins ended up taking on Finn Balor. But overall, Monday Night Raw, decent show was tonight. And of course, we got, Elimination Chamber coming up on the 1st of next month in March. And we're on the road to WrestleMania, to which the build towards WrestleMania, it's been going slow so far. But after Elimination Chamber, I expect the build to pick up good, hopefully. But anyway, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn made his way out, of course. He was pile drived by Kevin Owens. And Sami Zayn, he was rubbing his injured neck in pain. So he got into the ring. He got on the mic as fans there in Charlotte were chanting for him. Sami ended up saying that it's been a rough few weeks, so it feels good to hear the fans chant his name. Sami ended up saying that he has been thinking about his history with Kevin Owens. Sami ended up saying, in the history of this business, there are no other two guys who have had their names tied to each other like them. He kept saying that he's talking about through pool halls in Toronto, to NXT, to going up to the main roster, and also to the main event of WrestleMania. Sami kept saying that they did it together. He kept saying in a story that long, there's going to be a lot of betrayal, forgiven, and forgetting. Sami kept saying, unfortunately, there is no forgiven and forgetting this time. He kept saying that Kevin Owens knows this time was different. Sami kept saying this wasn't about getting ahead in their careers, and that Owens tried to end his career. And Sami Zayn kept saying that the problem for Owens is he didn't get the job done because he's still standing right here. Sami kept saying that he won't pretend his neck is 100%, but he knows he's got enough in the tank for a fight. Sami wanted to say that if Kevin Owens says he'll be in Toronto for Elimination Chamber, he will be as well. So Sami ended up saying that he wants this fight with Owens, and he's sure that everyone wants to see that fight, to which, of course, the crowd ended up cheering. So Adam Pearce walked out. Pearce ended up saying to Sami Zayn that they've talked about this more than once. He ended up saying that he knows everyone wants to see the match, including him. And he ended up saying that Sami Zayn has been given an answer more than once. Pearce ended up telling Sami Zayn no. And that the office had told Sami Zayn no. The board had told Sami Zayn no. And medical had told him no. He ended up saying that Sami is not medically cleared to compete. So Adam Pearce ended up telling Sami as much as he would love nothing more than to make the match official? The answer is no. To which the crowd end up booing Adam Pearce. So Pearce ended up heading to the back. Sami then shouted for Pearce to stop. Sami Zayn ended up asking Pearce, "Oh, how long have you known me and Kevin Owens?" He ended up saying that Pearce was with them long before the names ever touched a WWE contract. He ended up saying that Pearce knows this is different from anything in their history. Sami Zayn ended up telling Pearce that he's not taking no for an answer. He ended up telling Pearce that he was not leaving the ring until Pearce makes the match. So Pearce ended up saying to Sami that he's known them for 20 years. He's known him and Kevin Owens for 20 years. And that he cannot sanction this. So Pearce was like to Sami, "Do you want Kevin Owens to do something he's never done before?" And that he can't sanction it. So Pearce ended up telling Sami Zayn, "Oh, if Kevin Owens wants to wrap a chair around his face, he can't stop him." He ended up telling Sami that if Owens wants to drag him to the concourse and beat him, he can't stop him. He ended up telling Sami that if Owens wants to hoist him up and pile drive him again and again, he can't stop him. And he ended up telling Sami that there are no referees to enforce it because there are no rules. He ended up saying that WWE will legally wash its hands, and it's all Sami Zayn's risk with little reward. So Pearce ended up saying that if Sami wins, he'll still lose, and it could be the very last match in Sami Zayn's career. So Pearce ended up asking Sami if he understands what he's saying. And that led the crowd to chant, "Let them fight." So Sami then got out of the ring, he went up the aisleway, and he looked Adam Pearce in his eyes. Sami ended up telling Pearce that he understands exactly what he means. If he wants to wrap a steel chair around Kevin Owens' face, Pearce can't stop him. Sami Zayn ended up saying that if he wants to beat him senseless in the concourse, Pearce can't stop him. So everything that Adam Pearce ended up telling Sami Zayn, what Kevin Owens would do to him, Sami Zayn, understood it. So Sami Zayn was like to Adam Pearce, "Give me this damn match." So the Pearce ended up making the match official. He had to tell Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber in Toronto, it'll be Kevin Owens one-on-one with Sami Zayn. But Pearce ended up telling Sami, it's not official. It's unsanctioned. So Pearce ended up walking off, and Sami Zayn looked all pleased about that. So pretty much that was basically how the segment ended. But overall, this was a good opening to Monday Night Raw here, and really like that we're getting a unsanctioned match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I love it, and it's going to be one hell of a match. I mean, obviously we've seen Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go at it before, and they had very good matches together. So an unsanctioned match, I am looking forward to it. And I see this all culminating at WrestleMania between Owens and Sami. But looking forward to the unsanctioned match. And then we saw the Judgment Day. They were in their clubhouse. Carlito was talking about getting a credit card for the DLC on 2K24. I feel like, I said this before, Carlito feels like he's just there in the Judgment Day. Like he feels like the third wheel to me. So Dominik ended up saying that he's worried for Liv Morgan, with Bianca Belair and Naomi looking for her and Raquel Rodriguez. Of course, on SmackDown on Friday, Nick Aldis ended up informing Bianca Belair and Naomi that New footage was surfaced regarding who attacked Jade Cargill. And of course, the footage showed Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez walking in the background. And, I don't think that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez end up attacking Jade Cargill. I think this is all a red herring. And this was only done to have Bianca Belair and Naomi defend the women's tag team titles against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, which we are going to be getting next week on Monday Night Raw in Cincinnati. It was confirmed later on in the night. So Liv Morgan ended up saying that Dominik needs to focus on beating AJ Styles. Dominik ended up saying to Liv that he's worried since Balor keeps jumping down his throat. So Balor walked up and he ended up saying that everyone needs to handle their business so they can get back in business. He ended up saying that it would be embarrassing if Raquel lost to Roxanne Perez. And Raquel ended up saying to Balor that she'll handle her business. So Balor ended up reiterating that there will be no new members to come into the Judgment Day. So pretty much that was basically that. And then we had the first match of the night. Dominik Mysterio versus AJ Styles. This was a very good match here between these two. So, of course, Carlito accompanied Dominik out there. So the match got underway. Both Dominik and Styles end up circling the ring. They both locked up. Styles quickly ended up hooking a side headlock on Dom. Dom ended up trying to whip Styles off, but Styles ended up pulling Dom's hair. Styles then hooked a waistlock, and he connected with a back suplex to Dom. Dom ended up begging Styles off. Styles then grabbed Dom and bounced him off the top turnbuckle. Styles had Dom in the corner, and he chopped away at Dom's chest. Styles connected with a backbreaker to Dom. He then whipped Dom into the corner, and Dominik ended up falling to the canvas. Styles then ended up punching Dom against the ropes, and he ended up delivering a vertical suplex to Dom. Dom landed on his feet, and he ended up attacking Styles. Dom hit the ropes, but Styles ended up delivering a drop kick to Dom. Dom then rolled out of the ring to recover. Styles went to the apron, and he hit a sliding knee to Dom's face. Styles then ended up getting Dom back in the ring and charged him in the corner. Dom then dropped Styles on the apron, but Styles knocked Dom back. Styles set up for the phenomenal forearm, but Carlito ended up jumping up, and he knocked Styles off the ropes as Dom quickly grabbed the ref. So Styles then crashed to the floor. Dom then ended up connected with a suicide dive to Styles. And then he stood tall with Carlito. Carlito was shown taking a bite out of his apple. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Styles elbowed out of a side headlock from Dom, and he knocked Dom into the corner. Styles then charged at Dom. Dom then elbowed Styles back and took him down. Dom then went to the apron, and he connected with a slingshot somersault senton onto Styles. He ended up going for the cover, to which Styles kicked out. Dom then did the Three Amigos to Styles, but Styles countered out of the third Amigo, but Dom ended up dropping Styles into the ropes. Dom then connected with the 619 to Styles. He then headed to the top rope. He went for the frog splash, to which Styles moved out of the way. So Styles was signaling for the Styles Clash. Carlito ended up getting in the ring, but Styles ended up kicking the middle rope into Carlito's groin, which caused Carlito to spit his apple everywhere, chunks of his apple bites everywhere in the ring. Styles then hit the ropes, and he forearmed Carlito off the apron. Dom then rolled Styles up, to which Styles kicked out. Dom then ended up going for the Hurricanrana. Styles countered that into a Styles Clash. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. AJ Styles ended up winning the match. Post-match, Styles then celebrated in the ring. Braun Breaker, the Intercontinental Champion, got into the ring. Braun Breaker sized Styles up. So Braun was going for the spear to Styles. Styles then turned around and he moved out of the way when he saw Braun Breaker charging at him. So Styles moved out of the way and Breaker delivered the spear to Dominik, to which Dominik sold the hell out of that spear from Braun Breaker. So Styles ended up quickly taking Breaker out with the Pele kick and he knocked Breaker out of the ring. Breaker was furious and he threw his shirt at Styles, to which Styles caught it, good there. So pretty much that was basically that. But really am excited to see, AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker. We're probably going to get the match at Elimination Chamber, or if we're lucky, this might be a WrestleMania match. AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. So, but I wouldn't mind, if it happens at Elimination Chamber, but I would be really, really excited, looking forward to the match if it happens at WrestleMania. I mean, Styles, Braun Breaker, Intercontinental Championship. It's a WrestleMania quality match there. But overall, good match from Styles and Dominik Mysterio. I also forgot to mention the ref botched the count because when Styles ended up going for the pin, you heard the crowd counted 1, 2, 3, and the ref was off by that. So, botched by the ref there. And that was not the only botch by a referee tonight, which I will get to. And then we saw the Creed brothers with Ivy Nile. Of course, Chad Gable was not here again tonight. So the Creed brothers were happy with what they did last week, where they ended up attacking the War Raiders with the World Tag Team Championship. Ivy Nile ended up reminding the Creeds that they didn't win last week, and that they promised gold to Chad Gable when he returns. So Ivy Nile ended up saying that's why she'll beat Dakota Kai and get the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So Dakota Kai ended up walking by. Ivy Nile walked up to Dakota Kai, and she ended up saying that Dakota Kai's Cinderella story ends tonight. Dakota Kai ended up saying to Ivy Nile that tougher women have tried to take her down, and that she's earning her rematch. So that was basically that, which that led into the match, Ivy Nile versus Dakota Kai. Women's Intercontinental Championship No More Contenders match. The winner will face Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship next week on Monday Night Raw. And this was just a very meh match here. You had Ivy Nile seated at ringside as she ended up watching the match. So we had both women end up locking up. Ivy Nile climbed to the second rope. Ivy Nile ended up kicking Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai ended up grabbing Ivy and sent her into the ropes for a pair of arm drags. Dakota ended up sliding out of the ring and ended up sweeping Ivy Nile's feet. She ended up spinning her around and kicking her in the chest. Dakota Kai then got into the ring and she ended up charging, but Ivy Nile ended up lifting her up and dumped her out of the ring. Ivy Nile ended up going outside and she ended up kicking Dakota Kai in her knee. Dakota Kai, of course, we all know about her knee injuries that she sustained, through her career and her time in WWE. Ivy Nile ended up slamming Dakota Kai's leg off the apron, and Nile got into the ring. She continued to attack Dakota Kai's knee. So we had Dakota Kai later on. She ended up drop kicking Ivy Nile down. She sized Ivy Nile up for a running boot to her face. Dakota Kai then ended up booting Ivy Nile back, and she had pinned a chiropractor to which she ended up going for the cover, and Ivy Nile ended up kicking out. So, at the end of the match, we had Dakota Kai end up spiking Ivy Nile's head into the canvas, because we had Ivy Nile end up locking in the ankle lock on Dakota Kai. So Nile went for the ankle lock. Dakota Kai ended up fighting out of it. That's when Dakota Kai ended up spiking Ivy Nile's head into the canvas with a stomp. And as she connected with a GTK, Dakota Kai ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Dakota Kai ended up winning the match. So we now have a rematch from the final match of the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament. So it's going to be Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria next week on Monday Night Raw in Cincinnati for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So Dakota Kai is Lyra's first challenger. So Lyra then got into the ring. She held the title up, and pretty much that was basically that. And then we had Gunther. Gunther was out in the concourse of the arena, and he ended up making his way through the crowd just like Jey Uso does. So he was mimicking Jey Uso's entrance, and he wanted to feel what the yeet was all about. So Gunther was just trying to get the fans to do the yeet, as what Jey Uso does. But unfortunately, what Gunther got were boos from the crowd. It was funny how, Gunther was trying to get everybody to do the yeet. But we had Gunther end up saying that this is a simple gesture for simple people. He ended up saying that he's way smarter than them. Gunther ended up saying that he gets why Jey feels so comfortable up here, because Jey is a simple guy. Gunther ended up saying that he doesn't blame the fans for not appreciating him. He ended up saying him performing for them is like reading Shakespeare to a dog. He ended up saying what the people need to understand is, as the best wrestler in this company right now, he is sick and tired of getting into the ring with people that can't even lace his boots. Gunther ended up saying that he was hopeful he could talk some sense into Jey, or beat some sense into him, so he would make the right decision. He ended up saying because of the people yeeting and dancing along, it gave Jey a false sense of confidence. And Gunther ended up saying that they forced Jey into digging his own grave. So as Gunther got down to the crowd, he was like, yeah, it stinks in the crowd. So Gunther ended up saying that at WrestleMania, the match won't happen in the crowd. It will happen in the ring. Gunther ended up saying that after the bell rings, he will outclass Jey in every aspect of this sport. So Gunther ended up getting to ringside, and he stood on the steps. So he ended up saying after what they did at WrestleMania, Jey's blood will be on their hands. So Gunther then told the crowd to be honest to themselves, to him and to Jey. So Gunther was like, do you really think Jey stands a chance to beat him at WrestleMania? And the fans end up chanting, we want Jey. So Gunther was like, oh, they don't have a clue. So he wants a professional opinion on the topic. So Gunther then climbed onto the commentary table, and he faced Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. So Gunther ended up saying they are supposed to be unbiased. So he was asking Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, do they both really believe that Jey has a chance at beating him at WrestleMania? So Pat McAfee, he did not want to answer. He was nervous about answering to Gunther. So Gunther ended up saying that Pat McAfee has always run his mouth. So he threw the mic into McAfee's midsection. McAfee picked the mic up as Michael Cole was warning Pat McAfee to be careful. So Pat McAfee ended up telling Gunther that anything can happen, and he hopes Jey can beat Gunther at WrestleMania. So Gunther took off his jacket and he approached Pat McAfee. So Jey Uso ended up coming out, and officials ended up trying to keep Jey back. McAfee stood on the commentary table. He was yelling with the crowd. Gunther blew through the officials, and he ended up coming into the ring. He started punching away at Gunther. And of course, officials and security ended up pulling Jey back. Jey ended up super kicking one of the officials and sent another official over the top rope. Gunther then grabbed Jey with a sleeper hold, but of course, officials ended up pulling Gunther away. Jey ended up breaking through and attacked Gunther. Gunther ended up quickly retreating from the ring. He ended up shouting that he's in Jey's head. So that was pretty much basically that. Jey got out of the ring, and he ended up smacking hands with Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, and that was basically that. Overall, this was a very good segment here. This was a strong segment with Gunther mocking Jey's entrance. And just Gunther, we all know Gunther is a great promo guy. But he was, very good in this segment. Really loved him, mocking Jey Uso's entrance through the crowd. But, Jey Uso, he might possibly beat, Gunther at WrestleMania for the title. I mean, that would give Jey Uso his WrestleMania moment. But WWE, they have to capitalize on that because of how, big Jey Uso is and how over he is with the crowd. Yeah, if Jey Uso beats Gunther at WrestleMania, imagine, the pop that Jey Uso is going to have in Las Vegas. And then we saw Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was backstage with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So Kathy Kelly ended up mentioning to Morgan and Rodriguez about the video that Nick Aldis showed on SmackDown. So Liv Morgan ended up asking Kathy Kelly if she actually saw her attack Jade Cargill. She ended up saying that she wants to concentrate on Raquel's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. So Kathy Kelly ended up asking again to the both of them about the attack. And they ended up saying that it could happen to anyone. And pretty much that was basically that. And then we had Pete Dunne versus Penta. Cero Miedo. And this was a good match here. So, as the bell rang, we had both Pete Dunne and Penta end up brawling. Penta ended up hooking a side headlock on Pete Dunne, and he ended up holding on as Pete Dunne ended up trying to whip Penta off. Pete Dunne finally whipped Penta off, and he ended up dropping down. Penta ended up grabbing Pete Dunne. They hit the ropes, and Penta connected with a run hurricanrana to Pete Dunne. Dunne ended up reversing the whip, but he ended up dropping his head, and he ate a kick from Penta that took him down. Penta ended up sending Dunne into the ropes. Dunne responded with a drop kick to Penta. Dunne then ripped Penta's glove off and started twisting his fingers. Pete Dunne then stomped on Penta's arm and started taunting the crowd. Dunne then dropped the knee on Penta's injured arm, and he stretched his legs out, and then he ended up stomping on Penta's legs. So Dunne ended up standing Penta up in the corner, and he ended up hitting a snap kick. Dunne ended up whipping Penta into the corner and ended up hitting a running forearm. He then ended up sending Penta to the opposite corner for another running forearm. Dunne then chopped away at Penta's chest and whipped him into the opposite corner. So Pete Dunne ended up charging. Penta slingshotted over Pete Dunne into a backstabber. So both guys ended up brawling on the apron, and Penta ended up chopping away at Dunne's chest. Ludwig Kaiser then walked out to the stage to watch the match. And Pete Dunne did not look too happy to see Kaiser out there. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Pete Dunne was in control of the match. He ended up twisting Penta's arm over the ropes, and he ended up bending Penta's hand back. Penta then ended up fighting back with a chop to Dunne. So Penta ended up slinging himself to hit a head scissors takeover off the ropes onto Dunne. He then connected with a modified bulldog. Pete Dunne countered a second attempt at Penta delivering a modified bulldog to him, but Penta ended up picking Dunne up and slammed him down with a Death Valley driver. So Penta ended up going for the cover, and Dunne ended up kicking out. We had Dunne end up backflipping over Penta. Penta ended up charging at Dunne, and he ended up hitting a Mexican Destroyer. Always, love when Penta hits that Mexican Destroyer. Just great move there. So Dunne rolled out of the ring to recover. Penta then ended up doing Cero Miedo. He went to hit the ropes, but Kaiser was standing on the apron. Penta ignored Kaiser, and he ended up charging, but Dunne ended up kicking Penta in his head. Dunne ended up rolling Penta up, and he grabbed Penta's tights, but Penta kicked out. So Kaiser turned his back on Dunne on the apron. Penta quickly ended up driving Dunne into Kaiser, which knocked Kaiser off the apron. Penta then ended up pinning the Penta driver onto Dunne, and there you go. Penta ended up winning the match. Post-match, Kaiser ended up attacking Penta from behind and started punching away at him. Dunne then pulled Kaiser out of the ring, and Dunne and Kaiser, they began to brawl at ringside. Penta then ended up wiping both Dunne and Kaiser out with a tope con hilo, which looked great. And pretty much that was basically that. Overall, good match it was between Penta and Pete Dunne here. And then we saw Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was backstage with Jey Uso. Mr. Yeet, Jey Uso. Jey ended up telling Kathy Kelly that he feels underestimated. Kathy Kelly then told Jey that a lot of superstars are doubting he can walk out of WrestleMania as the champion. So Jey ended up telling Kathy Kelly that they're doubting him. But he's the Royal Rumble winner. Jey ended up saying that at WrestleMania he'll shock the world again when he beats Gunther and becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion. Yeet. So, pretty much that was basically that. Then we got a promo from Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez ended up saying that she doesn't see a villain or a hero when she looks in the mirror, and all she sees is the Prodigy. She ended up saying that she won the NXT Breakout Tournament, was an Iron Survivor, and also the NXT Women's Champion. She ended up saying that she also lasted longer than any woman in history in the Royal Rumble, and that no one is on her level. So that was what Roxanne Perez had to say, but I'm a fan of Roxanne Perez. I think she's very good in the ring. I enjoyed, her work in NXT. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw the War Raiders. They ended up cutting a promo. They ended up saying that the Creed Brothers took them to their limit last week, but they're not built for war. Eric and Ivar ended up saying that they smashed them with the titles, but they're still the champions. He ended up saying that it wasn't the first time they've been knocked down, but they get up. He ended up saying that next time they have a match, it's war. There you go. That was what the War Raiders had to say. And then we have Roxanne Perez versus Raquel Rodriguez. Elimination Chamber qualifying match. This determine who last person is entering the chamber for the woman. Of course, we had Raquel Rodriguez being accompanied by Liv Morgan. And this was a okay match here. So the match ended up getting underway. Roxanne Perez ended up rolling under a clothesline attempt from Raquel. Raquel ended up grabbing Perez by her hair and started slinging her down. Raquel then grabbed Perez's arm and lifted her up and then slammed her down. Raquel ended up taking Perez lightly and started clapping her hands. Perez then hit the ropes. She did a cartwheel around Raquel. Perez then slapped Raquel in the face, which did nothing to Raquel. All Raquel did was smile, so he had a little bit of a return of Smiley Raquel here. You know, you could tell when she smiled that Smiley Raquel was coming out of her. So she then clotheslined Perez down. Raquel then powered her into the corner, and she started talking trash. She then connected with an elbow to Perez's face. She then threw Perez across the ring. Perez then ended up twisting through the ropes and slapped Raquel again, to which that did nothing again to Raquel. Raquel then chased Perez around the ring. Perez got into the ring and drop-kicked Raquel off the apron. Perez ended up going for a suicide dive, but Raquel ended up catching Perez, and she had pinned a lawn dart into the ring post. So Raquel got into the ring, and she stood over Perez. And Raquel ended up lifting Perez up, hitting a press slam. Raquel ended up flexing her bicep, of course showing off. She then lifted Perez and ended up hitting snake eyes to Perez. Perez ended up sliding off Raquel's shoulders, and she then ended up grabbing Perez in a front face lock and swung her around the ring, thinking like she was Claudio Castagnoli. So we had Raquel end up attempting a buckle bomb. Perez countered that into a hurricanrana into the top turnbuckle. So we had Bianca Belair and Naomi. They cornered Liv Morgan at ringside. So Bianca Belair and Naomi end up attacking Liv Morgan, and they drove her into the barricade, to which that led to Raquel being distracted by what was going on, and that gave Roxanne Perez a chance to roll Raquel Rodriguez up. So there you go. Roxanne Perez ended up winning the match, and she is the last woman to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. So Roxanne Perez now joins Naomi, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, and Bayley in the Elimination Chamber. But overall, okay match between Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez here. And then we saw Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was backstage with Seth Rollins, who was in all red tonight. So Rollins ended up saying that WrestleMania is 10 weeks away, and winning the Elimination Chamber gets him there. But first, he has to qualify. He ended up saying this match is as big as it gets. He ended up saying that Finn Balor wants this win, but he wants it more. Rollins ended up saying that it's time for a fight. So he then walked off, and then Karrion Kross and Scarlett came up to Kathy Kelly. Kross ended up saying that he's trying to wrap his mind around the mindset of Sami Zayn's friends. He ended up saying that Jay thinks he'll win the title at WrestleMania. No. He ended up saying Seth Rollins thinks he'll win tonight, and then beat the Invisible Man, John Cena, at Elimination Chamber. To which Kross said no. Kross ended up telling Sami Zayn that he can't beat Kevin Owens, and it's not too late to turn things around. So Karrion Kross, thinks he's predicting the future here. So that was that. And then we had a promo from Io Sky as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial. Io ended up saying that everything can change quickly. And last year, she was on top of the world, heading into the biggest stage of them all as champion. Io ended up saying this year there was a moment where she didn't think she'd make it to WrestleMania. She ended up saying this match with Rhea Ripley is everything she needs. Io ended up saying that she knows Rhea better than Rhea knows herself. She ended up saying that in NXT, Rhea threw everything she had at her, and that she stood victorious. Io ended up saying that when she pins Rhea and wins the Women's World Championship, she's going to WrestleMania. Which, of course, the match is set for the Monday Night Raw after Elimination Chamber, Io versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. But Io is not winning the title. Rhea Ripley is taking the Women's World Championship into WrestleMania. So then we had the New Day. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. They were in the ring, and Xavier Woods got on the mic, and he sarcastically told Rey Mysterio to get well soon, because of course, last week at the end of Monday Night Raw, they ended up attacking Rey, to which it went off quickly, last week's show. So we had the crowd end up loudly booing the New Day. Kofi ended up asking the crowd for a second to speak. So Woods ended up yelling at the crowd to shut up. So they end up saying that they're so mad about what they said to their friend Big E, and that they're mad they told him to keep his lazy ass at home, and that they're mad about Rey, the Hall of Famer who continuously sucks the life out of every luchador in this company. So, of course, they were talking about the fans. So they were like, oh, that's what the fans want to be the locker room leader? Kofi ended up saying that they put Rey on a pedestal. Why? Because he's a Hall of Famer, or the greatest luchador of all time? Kofi ended up saying that he has more title wins than Rey Mysterio, and he has been here longer than Rey. Kofi ended up saying that he's been here for nearly 19 years. And of course, 19 years, he's still a jobber. So Kofi ended up saying that the difference between him and Rey is that he never left. Kofi ended up saying that he should be the locker room leader. He ended up saying Rey kicking them out of the locker room is audacious. So Woods ended up saying that audacity forced their hand to take a steel chair to the ankle of Rey. Kofi ended up saying that's why they made him cry, as he laid there in the middle of the ring crying and embarrassed. Kofi ended up saying, well, that could have been a lot worse. He ended up saying that the crowd should be thankful they showed mercy to their hero. Woods ended up saying that they should be thankful that they didn't take Rey out back and give him the old Yeller treatment. He ended up saying all they did was give him vacation time with his wife, and that everyone should be on their knees with their hands held toward the sky, screaming, thank God for the New Day. So this led Dragon Lee, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro to come out. Dragon Lee ended up saying to the New Day, what they did to Rey Mysterio is unforgivable. So he was then talking in Spanish. He ended up saying that he knows they have no idea what he's talking about. So Dragon Lee ended up saying, New Day sucks. So Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, and Dragon Lee, they got into the ring, and they triple teamed up on the New Day. Del Toro ended up clotheslining Kofi over the top rope, and we had Wilde and Del Toro end up super kicking Woods out of the ring. Dragon Lee ended up going for a dive to the New Day, but they ended up running away, and pretty much that was basically that. I'm just over the New Day here. WWE has nothing planned for them. I thought that, Big E would be cleared and we would see Big E in the Rumble and have him eliminate Kofi and Xavier, but that did not happen. Maybe Big E comes back at WrestleMania and we see, hopefully, he'll be medically cleared and, he could, take out Kofi and Xavier Woods. But as of right now, I am over the New Day here. WWE has nothing for them. There's no creative for them. It's just them coming out, just talking down on the fans, and, oh, well, we beat down Rey Mysterio. Oh, we put Big E out. We told him to keep his lazy ass at home. That's all that they have for the New Day now. But this whole shtick with the New Day is getting old. And then we saw Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly caught up with Bianca Belair and Naomi. And Bianca and Naomi end up telling Kathy Kelly that they're anxious to get their hands on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And that they'll also be watching the match with Rhea and Io for the Women's World Championship. So that was that. And of course, next week on Monday Night Raw, Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and Liv Morgan and Raquel versus Bianca Belair and Naomi with the Women's Tag Team Championship on the line. So that's all set for Monday Night Raw next week in Cincinnati. Main event, Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Elimination Chamber qualifying match. This determined who will be the last guy to enter the men's Elimination Chamber match. And this was a very good match here. The crowd was into this match. Very physical match between Rollins and Balor here. I thought they had, good chemistry here. So Seth Rollins made his way out first. So as Rollins was making his way out, Balor ended up blindsiding Rollins and started stomping away at him. So the ref ended up backing Balor up as he checked on Rollins. So Rollins ended up telling the ref to ring the bell. So the match got underway. Balor ended up attacking Rollins. Rollins countered a whip from Balor, and he attempted to hit the pedigree on Balor. Balor ended up hitting a double stomp to Rollins. Balor then connected with a pedigree to Rollins. He ended up going for the cover, to which Rollins kicked out. Balor connected with the drop kick to Rollins. Balor headed to the top rope for the coup de grace, but Rollins moved out of the way. Rollins then hit a diving clothesline to Balor. So Balor ended up kicking Rollins in his leg. Balor then started clubbing away at Rollins in the corner, and he chopped at Rollins. Balor then started punching Rollins against the ropes. Rollins ended up looking at the WrestleMania sign as Balor ended up attacking him. Balor then ended up sending Rollins to the corner. He ended up charging, but Rollins ended up big booting Balor down. Rollins then attacked Balor in the corner and started stomping away at him. Rollins ended up hitting a running forearm, which was followed by a backbreaker to Balor. Rollins ended up going for the lion salt, but he landed on his feet because Balor got out of the ring. Rollins then went for the suicide dive to Balor, which connected. So we had Rollins ended up pinning a springboard knee to Balor's face. Rollins ended up going for a stomp, but Balor ended up moving, and he hit a sling blade to Rollins. Balor then ended up sizing Rollins up for a corner drop kick, but Rollins ended up drop kicking Balor in his knees. Balor slowly got up. Rollins ended up kicking his leg out, Balor's leg out. Rollins ended up getting Balor in the corner and started twisting away at Balor's leg. Balor then fought back with a kick to Rollins' ribs. And we had Balor end up going to ringside. He drove Rollins' ribs into the apron. We had Rollins end up blocking a kick from Balor, and he pulled Balor off the apron, and he ended up dropping his knee onto the commentary table. We had Balor end up going to the steps. He laid down on the ring steps. Rollins was going to go for a stomp to Balor on the steps, but Balor moved, and then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Balor in control of the match. He ended up stretching Rollins' injured midsection out with an abdominal stretch. Rollins fought out, and he hit a hip toss to Balor. Balor moved out of the way as Rollins ended up charging at him, and he rolled. Balor ended up rolling Rollins up for a 2 count. Balor then ended up kneeing Rollins' midsection, and he started stomping him against the ropes. We had later on Balor ended up clawing to the bottom rope. Rollins ended up pulling Balor away, and he hit the pedigree to Balor. So Rollins ended up going for the cover, and Balor kicked out because it looked like that this was a 3, but the ref botched. The ref botched here. So the crowd were chanting, "Ref, you suck," because I guess that was supposed to be, a 3 count there. So Rollins was arguing with the ref, and he ended up doing "suck it" to the ref because Rollins knew that was a 3 count, and the ref botched that. So Rollins ended up going for a stomp. Balor then ended up kicking Rollins in his ribs. Balor headed to the top rope, but Rollins cut Balor off. We had Rollins end up scaling the ropes for a superplex, but Balor countered, and he knocked Rollins down to the canvas. Balor then ended up hitting the coup de grace onto Rollins. So Balor ended up going for the cover, and Rollins countered that into a crucifix pin, to which Balor kicked out. Balor immediately transitioned that into a crossface, but Rollins got out of that, and he hit the stomp on Balor. So Seth ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Seth Rollins ended up winning the match. So Rollins will now join John Cena, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre in the Elimination Chamber. So that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. Overall, very good match it was. Very physical match between Rollins and Balor here. And the crowd really enjoyed it. But very good match it was. Overall, Monday Night Raw, decent show it was. But anyway, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and be sure to check out, of course, tomorrow on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel, we're doing the movie fanatics again. So tune in for a whole new edition of the movie fanatics. This is episode 7 that we're going to be doing tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel. And also Wednesday, the Bell Call podcast is back. Me and Noah are going to be doing another episode of the Bell Call podcast. So stay tuned for that on Wednesday. Possibly going live at like 6:50, almost 7 o'clock. So join me and Noah for that here on my channel. So anyways, that's it for this video. And I'll see you all later.